Well, well, well. Fancy seeing you here. Rush of the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. West Ham kick off in a couple of hours against Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Don't forget to download. Now, I'm going to say here, but it's probably in the wrong way. If it's not here, it's here. It's mirrored, so I'm going to say here. The QR code, Match Bingo. Get your cards ahead of the game. And download the QR code. Download the app, 18s and UK only. Get any sort of deposit you put down, put WHN or in capital letters in the promo code, get 200% free and win some money maybe. Join us for the watch along a little bit later on, myself and Anton. And yeah, as we always do, a couple of hours before we try and predict the starting 11. Now, I think what's quite interesting when you look at the starting 11, if I press the right button, there we go, is we don't know much about it. We know some bits. We know Paqueta's not playing. But everyone else, �11𝗏𝗏, Füllkrug, Freddie Potts. He also alluded to maybe a couple of knocks from some of the players who were international duty as well. Whether that could be Wan-Bissaka or Diouf or who else was on Bowen. That's about it, I think. Thomas Souček. We don't know. So I'm gonna assume. So this is what I'm gonna assume. I'm gonna assume that Mav will be on the bench. Won't be 100%. I'm gonna assume Füllkrug will be on the bench as well, and I will assume Freddie Potts is fit. Now, maybe we'll talk about some of the permutations a bit later on. But if that's the case, I think it's pretty simple to pick the side. I think Areola starts in goal. Simples. The likelihood is Fabianski. Well, I don't know. We don't know. We haven't been told about Hermansen, because obviously the Danish side had a sickness bug. Fabianski's got a back spasm or had a back spasm. So whether that means Finn might be on the bench potentially. Finn Herrick, obviously back. He was obviously promoted to the under-21s in the week as well, which was fantastic for him. I'm going to assume Diouf is fit. Obviously, we know Ollie's still recovering from his shoulder injury. So obviously Diouf, if he's fit, he plays. Obviously, if he had a knock, then you would assume Wan-Bissaka could play there, or Kyle Walker-Peters could play there. And then I think they'll probably continue with two at the back four. The back four, that's the word, Russ. With Todibo and Kilman doing the old role reversal, they'll flip reverse it. And then Aaron there. I mean, it's a relatively settled back four, I hope. A back four which is obviously conceded less goals than it has done before. And, this is a side which is on the back of 2 wins as well. Can't remember the last, must have been ages ago. Must be ages ago that the last time we won 3 on the bounce. We need to check that, but I'm sure it's been some time. Let's just move Aaron to, that's it. Make it better. And then, obviously, we know there's no Paqueta. So there's a number of ways we can go about this. Let's start. I'm gonna assume Freddie's fit. So assume Freddie's fit. Now, my preference would be Magassa, Fernandes, or play it as a 3, but Fernandes being the main man. Now, he might decide to do that. He might not decide to do that. He might decide to maybe move Fernandes, put Fernandes where he usually plays him, and put Souček and have that as a 3. I think he'll probably do that. Although I'd like him to do the Magassa one, because that would be a midfield of about combined age of about 63, 64, which is pretty mad, really, in terms of how old our team has usually been. But I think he'll probably do that. And then, as long as everyone else is fit, Bowen, Somerville, and then Callum playing against his old club. I think that's what he'll do. Now, if there's any injuries, we know before. Do you remember there was the international break where he came back and then he played a really weird side because he played with some of the players who had been available since, he might, I mean, for example, here you might have an issue with, he did say about the guys. So the guys who were out on international duty, lovely circles, they were all out on international duty. I've already seen, there's been pictures of Fernandez, back in training. So it didn't look like he was hobbling. Souček's just a warrior. Bowen didn't really play much to warrant. He didn't go off injured or anything like that. So my only two concerns are the fullback issues. And again, I think if one of them is out, so say, for example, can I bring in... where's my bench? Let me bring my bench on. There's Carl. He's run off. But what could happen, for example, if Malik's injured, then Carl's there. If Wan-Bissaka is injured, then Carl's there and Malik's up there. If that's me. If it's if both fullbacks are there, we may well see a situation that you bring in that, you could go to, I don't know, you could go to three at the back with bringing in a Mav or Ezra or Edris or someone like that, playing Kyle Walker-Peters as a right wing back, maybe even playing Jimmy as a left wing back. And then, then obviously, there's options there. And that's what I like about this side. We only spoke about 𝗪𝗟𝗓. 𝗪𝗟𝗓 could drop in there, really, and play on and I wouldn't be surprised, actually, as I remember, I want to say it was the summer tournament. Did Louis play a little bit as a right wing back? Or did I dream that? I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, a lot of it we don't know. I mean, I think Nuno's very good at keeping his cards to his chest in terms of injuries and things like that. I would not be surprised if, for example, someone like Aaron has got a knock, or because he said that, and actually he goes through the side that they were playing internationally, and I just think, if it was something severe, we'd have known about that with Bowen or something like that. If it was just a knock, it might be fine. But he was quite cagey when asked that question about who's fit and who's not fit. We may have a situation where Mav's all 100% ready to go, full crew's 100% ready to go, and then that changes things around a bit. It gives you an option. It gives you, the option to maybe start full crew and then bring on Wilson, or start Wilson and bring on full crew, rather than put Thomas Souček up front. Obviously, with Paqueta being suspended, I would assume that Souček comes in for Paqueta, and that reduces that impact forward. You could put on impact, but the Souček 60 minutes, up front, So I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting. It's really interesting to see that team selection in a couple of hours' time. But anyway, we'll be back later. Don't forget to check out Match Bingo as per usual, and I'll see you soon. Peace out, mofos.